Good morning. You're watching Morning Headlines with me, Vidushi Agarwal. Let us take a look at the top newspapers today. To begin with, CBI says travel agents use student visas to push Indians into Russia war. Well, admissions to relatively unknown private universities, fee discounts, visa extensions, these are some of the ways travel agents from across the country duped dozens of men into going into Russia and eventually being forced into the country's war with Ukraine. The Central Bureau of Investigation has found. A quote here says, the development comes against the backdrop of two Indian youths, one from Gujarat and another from Telangana, dying on the front lines. Well, in its FIR, the CBI said that the agents were duping Indians on the pretext of admissions to dubious private universities in Russia, but not in government or publicly known ones. It has been learnt that on reaching Russia, passports of these Indian nationals were taken or snatched by agents. They were being trained in combat roles and provided with Russian army uniform and badges. Well, the news has been covered on the front page of the Indian Express as well as the Times of India. Moving on. Sudha Murthy picked for Rajya Sabha. PM underlines Nari Shakti. Well, author and philanthropist Sudha Murthy has been nominated to the Rajya Sabha by President Draupadi Murmu. Congratulating Miss Murthy, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that her presence in the Rajya Sabha is a powerful testament to the country's Nari Shakti as the announcement came on International Women's Day. Ukoche says that the announcement of Sudha Murthy as a nominee to the Rajya Sabha shows the distance travelled. Just 2 years ago, RSS-affiliated magazine Panchanda had accused Infosys and its foundation, then chaired by her, of deliberately trying to destabilize the Indian economy and helping Naxals and leftists and Tukre Tukre gang. Well, Miss Murthy's husband Narayan Murthy is the founder of IT giant Infosys. Now, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is her son-in-law. She received the Padma Bhushan, the third highest civilian award in India, for social work last year and Padma Shri in 2006. The news has been covered on the front page of the Indian Express. PM gives maximum likes to new era influencers. Well, a positive news coming in, inviting Prime Minister Narendra Modi onto the stage to present the first National Creators Awards. Podcaster Raj Shamani said to the hall packed with social media influencers. He says, "Thank your stars, he's not a content creator, because had he been one, our shops would have been shut." Well, by interacting with influencers individually before giving them awards, PM Modi also gave them ample content for their reels, full of humor, wit, and repartee, even personal anecdotes, the kind of stuff that works well online. On stage with YouTuber Ranveer Alabadia, who got the Disruptor of the Year award, PM Modi shared a friendly banter. "Will you give a fitness mantra to people?" Modi asked him. To which he replied, "We should do yoga and meditation." Responding to this, Prime Minister also said that then the people will say that he is sharing Modi ji's idea and that you have become a BJP wala. The conversation ended with Alabadia, who has interviewed several union ministers in the recent past, including S. Jaishankar and Piyush Goyal, telling Modi, "Aapke saath podcast karne ka mood ho raha hai." The PM in turn asked him to talk about the importance of sleep and his future shows. The news has been covered on the third or the eighth page of the Indian Express and Times of India as well. Let us now look at the international section of the newspaper. Democracy, freedom facing threat in US and world under Trump, says Biden. Well, US President Joe Biden delivered a feisty speech to defend his policies before skeptical voters in an election year as he launched a vitriolic attack on his Republican rival Donald Trump, who he said was a threat to democracy within the country and globally. Well, a quote here says that without taking the name of Trump, Biden, a Democrat, in his final State of the Union address to the joint session of the US Congress, less than 8 months ahead of the presidential elections, identifies him as my predecessor, which he mentioned as many as 13 times in his speech that lasted for over an hour. Now, without taking the name of Trump, Biden, as I said, a Democrat, in his final State of the Union address to the joint session to the US Congress less than 8 months ahead of the presidential elections, identify him as my predecessor, which he mentioned as many as I said 13 times in his speech. The news has been covered on the world page of the Indian Express as well as the Times of India. Moving on. Ex-blockade in Pakistan enters fourth week. Government mum despite court directive. Now, suspension of popular microblogging platform X in Pakistan entered the fourth week after it was enforced apparently to forestall the propaganda of jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan's party that accused the PMLN of a massive rigging in the February 8 polls. Now, the Pakistani authorities plugged off X in mid-February following the explosive press conference of the top government officer Rawalpindi Commissioner Liaquat Chatha, alleging that Chief Justice of Pakistan Qazi Faiz and Chief Election Commissioner Sikandar Sultan Raja are involved in massive rigging in the February 8 polls. Now, neither the previous caretaker government nor the new Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's administration is ready to offer any reason as to why the country is seeing the suspension of X for such a long period. Despite the Sindh High Court directing the restoration of citizens' access to popular social media service X, it has remained inaccessible in Pakistan for more than 3 weeks now. The news has been covered on the world page of the Indian Express as well as the Times of India. Development. EU set to open maritime aid corridor from Cyprus to Gaza this week amid famine fears. Well, the head of the European Commission says maritime aid corridor could start operating between Cyprus and Gaza this weekend, part of accelerating Western efforts to relieve the humanitarian crisis in the war-ravaged Palestinian enclave. Well, a quote in the newspaper reads, "The Palestinian Authority also welcomed Biden's comments, but reaction among ordinary Palestinians was much less positive." Well, let me tell you that negotiations on a possible ceasefire in Israel's war against Hamas now is in its 5th month, remained deadlocked in Cairo, with time running out to reach a truce in time for a Muslim holy month of Ramadan, expected to begin on Sunday. Well, the news has been covered on the world page of the Indian Express as well as the Times of India. Let us now look at the economy section. India poised to government to work on domestic AI chipsets in third term, says Vaishnav. Now, Narendra Modi government in its third term will work towards enabling domestic manufacturing of AI chipsets. Communications and IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav told FE. Well, a quote here will also read, which says, AI chipsets includes graphic processing units, GPUs, and other computing hardware essential for creating AI models, as these require large-scale computing. Well, Vaishnav explained that there are several other global firms making GPUs, but their processing capacity is around 60% of NVIDIA's. The minister says that the alliance with the global firms would be in the public-private partnership mode, as the government alone would not be able to do everything. The news has been covered on the economy section of the newspaper in Times of India as well as Indian Express. Last but not the least, let us take a look at the sports section. Work of art centuries. Well, showing an outstanding performance, India's captain Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill both scored massive hundreds on the second day of the 5th Test match against England, currently underway in Dharamshala. Despite coming from a period of poor form, Shubman Gill once again proved why he is hailed as the Prince of Cricket. A quote here reads, "Just 5 minutes before lunch, Shubman Gill, having crossed his 100, was performing his signature celebration. He was doffing his cap, taking a bow. Behind him stood Rohit Sharma, like a proud parent. For now, Team India is in a dominating position with a massive total of 473 runs, boasting a substantial lead of 255 runs over England. At this point, it appears highly likely that India will comfortably defeat England in this match to and clinch the series with a 4-run lead. Let's wait the developments on the third day of this match. That's all for today. Thank you for joining in to Ritam Live. For more updates, download the app and keep watching Ritam.